Hi everyone. So in the last video I made a video about how I study animation, and I took some 3D animations that I like to watch, and I explained about how I go by in studying them, how I go by frame by frame and study the body mechanics and the overlap action, the posing and the timing, and see what they did and see what I can learn from it. So in this part 2 of the video, I'm gonna be looking at other areas that I find inspiration for animation, and it's not from areas that you might think. Some of it at least. So we're gonna look at music. We're gonna look at some acting. We're gonna look at anime and some other stuff. Some other ways that I study animation. These are not the end all be all of how I study animation outside of animation, but it's just some things that came off my head, like that things that inspires me, and things we don't think about, because we don't see them as the same thing. We see them as different things, but it's part of us, and we create the animation. So there's a chain of action going there, and learning these other areas or looking at these other areas differently, it might help you understand animation. That's the goal of this video that I'm creating, is to teach you to find your own way of learning animation. If you're struggling with animation, learning how to get better, you can look at these different ways and try to unlock your brain a little bit and see things differently in an animation sense as an animator. Yeah. So let's get started. The first thing I want to look at is the first thing I like to study is music. Music has really good rhythm and timing. Music, as you know, there's always like a constant tempo, like a metronome kind of tempo. But then you layer on with different musical instruments that creates different beats, and then you layer on with the lyrics, the singer. That's another layer of rhythm going on, and because there's a constant metronome kind of beat, they have to sing in different ways. They can sing exactly like the metronome, because then it will be very boring. And if things are constantly the same all the time, it gets really boring. So they have to change things up, make things more interesting. Some their tones go up, sometimes their tones go down. Sometimes they drag certain words, sometimes they say a bunch of words at the same time. I mean, not at the same time, but back to back really quick. So I'm going to show you some examples from hip hop and rap, R&B. I'm not sure what genre these are, but it's all fused together. Rap, hip hop, R&B is all fused together, I think. In certain songs, they all fuse together and they all inspire each other. So this first thing I'm going to show you is from T-Pain. T-Pain is a rapper. I think, yeah, he's a rapper. This is a clip I found on Twitter, on his Twitch stream. It's a little song that he created for his stream, I guess. I don't really know where it came from, but someone shared it and I really liked it, and I downloaded it and just listened to it over and over just because I like it so much, and just try to understand what is it that makes it so nice, and the main thing is it's the rhythm, the way he breaks up his rap, the words he say, the way he says it, how the pauses, where he adds the pause in between his rap. Those are all really important in creating nice rhythm. And I see a lot of people a lot of animators get asked, like, how do you find good rhythm, how do you find good timing? It's a really tricky thing to answer, because we don't know. We don't exactly know. We just over time of animating years and years, you just get a feel of what good timing should be at this scene or what at this moment. You're building. It's just over time you build up a library of what good timing looks like. That's what I see, and how you build up this library, it's usually based on multiple things. So it's not just purely animations that you watch from when you were a kid in Toy Story, in Snow White, and all these Looney Tunes, all these different things. It's not just from that. It's from other things in your life too. It's like music, there's dancing, there's martial arts as well. There's all these different things. So music is one of the big things that that inspires me as well, and I don't really notice it, but there's certain songs, certain musicians that really stand out to me. I don't listen to T-Pain much, but this particular rap really stood out to me just because it's really entertaining. So let me play it for you, and I want you to listen to his his rhythm, his rap, the way he raps. It's a lot of variation to it. So let's play this. I'm gonna turn on the sound.
Look, we about to get it brackin' in this bitch. You just tuned into the latest channel on Twitch. And I am T-Pain, you know the OG. So when you think of legends, I am one of those kings. Hope please, get on both knees. I'm your host tonight, but feel free to host me. I'm a big brainer, pro gamer. Other channels lame-os, they no namers. 5 subs, 20 subs, 50. Yeah, I can't put money in the bank cause it won't fit in. Yeah, I stay loyal to my royals and you know I can't switch. Take the trash outside, better get out my face, bitch. That's what's up.
Yeah, so that's that. Let me clear this out. Yeah, so you notice there's his songs is a lot of variation. Sometimes he says things really quick. Sometimes he says them in a nice spaced out, and sometimes the space changes in between his rap. Sometimes it just paused, no sound at all, and he continues raps, and then he pauses, and then he continues and raps. All these different things, it applies to animation as well. When you have your character, like an action scene, your character's dashing through something, slashing a bunch of guys, and then they stop to hold a pose, and then to reload a gun or whatever, and creates a different beat. And then maybe they do something totally different. Maybe they pull out a bunch of guns. Sometimes they and then they pull out a sword or whatever. These are all different ideas, and different. You can see them as poses. You could change up your poses, change up your timing, change out your ideas, things that stays in character, but it's something you won't expect. Yeah, that's this T-Pain music. Next thing I want to show you is Childish Gambino. He's one of my favorite musicians. He has a very good sense of rhythm, Childish Gambino, because his style is so it's like a fusion of multiple things, and it's hard to pinpoint what it is, and I think that's what makes him unique. If that's what you're going for with the animation or whatever that you're doing, you're trying to be unique or you're trying to be good. You can be both as well, but what are you trying to aim for first? Which is your main goal? To be unique or to be good? Or you can be uniquely good. I think that's what we all want, to be uniquely good. So yeah, listen to Childish Gambino's music. He's very good. I'm gonna play a little bit of this cover that he did for "So Into You." This song called "So Into You" by Tamir. Yeah, it's an oldish song. I really like his cover. It's because he's a very good singer. He can hit a lot of high tones. He can hit low tones. He can rap. His voice is totally different every single time when I listen to his songs. Not every song, but a lot of songs. There's some songs that doesn't even sound like him at all. Like there's a song called Redbone. I did not know it's him at all. And then I realized it's Donald Glover. It's Childish Gambino. So it's very surprising, and he's a very talented dude. He's also a comedian and actor. Yeah, he's also a comedian actor as well. So I think he has a very good sense of what good rhythm and good timing looks like. So let me just play you this short portion of the song.
I really like what you done to me. I can't really explain it. I'm so into you. Really like what you done to me. I can't really explain it. I'm so into you.
Alright, that's what I'm playing for you. I'm also kind of worried that YouTube would flag me for this song, because it's not officially his song, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So you notice that the way he sings, he's got a lot of high tones. He's got low tones. Sometimes he drags out certain words. Sometimes he just hits a word very lightly, and sometimes he drags the word out really differently. And all these are all different ways of creating rhythm and offsetting your music, make them look sound more interesting. So yeah, these two music, I'm gonna put the link at the bottom so you can watch the full version of it. Especially this song. This song is, I only played the really short version, so listen to the whole thing if you like to. Yeah, that's what I'm going to show you for the music bit. The conclusion of this music is that you don't need to listen to these songs in particular, because you can listen to Japanese songs, you could listen to pop, and you could listen to country. They all have their own rhythm and it's different, but they all have rhythm and they all have timing. It's just that certain songs, it's like you take your timeline, you drag it out longer. It looks like that, so your timing spacing is a lot bigger. That's why I don't play country music. It's longer and it's harder to explain, but because I like hip hop and their beats are really hits harder. They've I guess beats they hit harder, and it's more bite size, and also I like these kind of songs, so it's easier for me to explain. So that's all for music. Pick songs that you like. Even anime songs. Some anime songs are really good if you're into that. Like anime like intro music, opening songs. Yeah, some of them are really good. That's all for music. So next thing I'm gonna look at is movies, acting, not movies. This video, it's hard to explain how the acting timing looks like. So I found this video shared by someone on Twitter. It's always Twitter that I find cool stuff. This guy, he drums to like movie dialogues, and you could tell like there's a very obvious rhythm to it because he's using a drum and he's drumming to their dialogue. So let me just play it for you, and so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Start from the beginning. I won't play the whole thing, just some of it.
They're on to me, dude. Those guys are sharp as nails up there. You can't put anything past them. Oh my god, dude, I'm freaking out. I'm so stressed out. I feel like I'm having a panic attack.
You want to talk about stress? Want to talk about stress? Okay? I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy hack. How about that for stress?
What the hell are you talking about?
This company is being bled like a stuffed pig, man. Check this out. Jesus Christ. There's the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail? Please, now. Can we talk about the mail for you all day, okay? Pepe Sylvia, his name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. With this whole box is Pepe Sylvia. So I said to myself, I gotta look at this guy. I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy. I gotta put it in. Otherwise, he's never gonna get it. He's gonna keep on getting it. So I jumped up his office. And what do I find out? I find out. There is no Pepe Sylvia. The man does not exist, okay? So I decided, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia. God, the candy. I'm not full of Pepe. All right, so I start marching my way down to Carol and HR. And I knock on their door and I say, Carol! Carol! I gotta talk to you about Pepe. And when I open the door, what do I find? There's not a single goddamn desk in that office. There is no Carol in HR.
Wait. So there you go. As you can see, it's very nice to listen to, and it's got very nice rhythm from acting, from movie dialogues. I'm gonna put this link at the description. You can go check out the full thing. He's got a lot more videos like this where he just jumps to dialogues from TV shows, from movies like that. Yeah, go check him out. So now the one I'm going to show you is from a show called Barry, Barry. So this show is about an assassin who found his life's purpose through attending acting classes. So there's a little bit of context. And there's two clips right here. It's from the same episode. He's doing this acting scene, and he was doing it at first, and he wasn't really feeling it. He wasn't in that zone of acting. And you could tell by his tone of voice, and you can look at his body language as well, of what not to do. To do, if you want to do something you want to do, look at bad versions of it, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna play this and listen to how he says his dialogue is all pretty flat. He's not making it too obvious that he's making it flat, but it's it's not interesting to watch. It feels very mechanic the way he says his line, and then the girl says his line, her line, and then he says his line. Is very your turn is back and forth, very mechanical. Right, so let me just play this for you.
Why are you dancing with that guy tonight?
Ken? He's just a friend, Sam.
Everybody was staring at you. I don't like it. It was embarrassing. You look like a whore.
Sam, Ken is just a friend. Don't be an idiot.
Hey, can I reset?
Right, so this is an example of what not to do with your acting scenes, I guess. Even acting has timing and rhythm. You know, there's no rhythm between them. It's very mechanical of him talking and her talking. So that's the before, like the bad version of it. So he went back and then got himself in a good place where he could do the scene authentically and more real. You could see it's totally different. Their scene. It's the tone of voice they hit. They interrupt each other in very natural manner. Yeah, let me play for you and just notice all that back and forth. There's like a rhythm going on.
Why are you dancing with that guy tonight?
Ken, he's just a friend. Yeah.
Everybody was looking at you. It was embarrassing. I didn't like it. You look like a whore.
Sam, don't worry about it, okay? Ken is just a friend.
Just a friend since when? Since when? Who the
You
fuck's
met
Ken?
him.
When did I meet Ken?
I don't know.
When?
He's just a friend. You're drunk.
What?
You're drunk.
If Ken's such a good friend, tell me when I met him. Tell me the day. Tell me the time when I met Ken.
Sam, just don't be an idiot.
You fucking idiot! You calling me? You calling me an idiot?
Alright, so that's that. Yeah, I noticed that it's not as mechanical anymore because there's different tones. He starts off angry, but it is a deeper voice, and then it goes a bit higher, and it goes into a yelling mode. And it doesn't feel like they're taking turns to talk. You know, sometimes he's talking in the middle of his sentence, she talks, and sometimes he interrupts her, and sometimes he only gets one word in, sometimes she gets a few words in as well. There's a lot of randomness going on as well, but it's not total randomness. It's a very controlled, and it felt very real, like they're responding to each other. These are also very good things to look at if you're doing acting animation. You know, like having body language, knowing when the dialogue comes in. Or does the body language show first, or does the face show first? Does the dialogue come out first? Depending on emotion. Notice he's not holding his cup anymore, because when you're angry, you're not gonna hold a cup. It's really funny that he's holding a cup here when he's saying his dialogue, and he's also like swirling a little bit right here. He's swirling a bit. It doesn't make any sense for someone angry. So when you're, especially if you're animating, like acting a character's acting, and they want you to add secondary emotion, you know, just have the guy, you know, lean on something, have him hold a cup, have him, like, you know, adjust his glasses like this. But it's not random. You just throw in something and you got secondary action, you know. Makes it look good. You need to have contact, you know. When he's angry, he won't be holding a cup, and he won't be swirling it around like that. So I look at a lot of different things like that too. And you know, when people say no and they're hesitant to say no, they'll probably shake their head first, and then they'll say no. Or if they're lying, it might be different depending on the character. So I look at a lot of different things like that when I'm doing my acting animation. I haven't done acting animation in a while, but it's really nice to look at good acting like these when you're an animator, because it really inspires me to, like, okay, I'm gonna do an acting shot next time. But then I never did, just because I haven't found a good rig, a rig that I like yet. So yeah, this is the acting bit of it. Do I have more? Nope, I don't have more. So yeah, the conclusion of acting is yeah, also like watch things that you like in acting. I like very dramatic acting stuff, very emotional stuff. It's just what I like, and I like to see all the small little details on the face and the body language, and I like to see how the face scrunched up like that. A lot of small things like this I like to look at. Yeah. Yeah, that's it for acting. Let's see. Okay, now let's look at anime. I think it's my favorite one. Uh, yeah, anime. It's they tend to I think some teachers or some people might say that anime is, there's no principles. Don't study it. There's nothing. It's not animation. It is animation. It's just a different style, and it's they take what we have with the 12 principles and they modify it and change it to what works for them. Like the smears and all that. It's smears is usually in 2D animation. It's classical. Yeah. Smears they do it differently as well. And they got it to work within their tree frames when they are playing on trees, because like classical 2D animation it runs on twos. Anime usually typically runs on trees, sometimes on twos, depending on the quality of the animation. So anime, I like to look at their poses. Their poses are fantastic. Sometimes it's ridiculous and fantastic. And timing is really good. The pacing is really good. If you watch an entire anime, you see the entire series. If you don't have the time for that, you can watch a movie. You can look at the pacing of how they build up certain things, like how a character goes from zero, and they got really powerful, and what makes them really powerful. Anime is very good at making things like that. Makes you very excited and your hair stands up. At least I feel that way when you're so invested to a character and suddenly they finally reach the top. It feels really good. Anime does this a lot. When you're cheering for the underdog, like Rocky movies. Is it Rocky? Yeah, Rocky. He's always the underdog, and then he finally wins after training. Anime does this a lot. There's always an underdog that trains like crazy, and they did something, and they become champion or whatever, and they do it very fantastic. It's a good way to learn pacing that way, and posing as well. So let me play this one for you. I'm just gonna play some of it. Yeah, anime tends to do this where the character just floats like that, especially right here. He's just floating, and he jumps up and he's floating. But it works for them because this is what they're going for. This kind of cool feel. They want you to feel cool, feel cool for the character. That's the goal for anime, and that for some people they might see it as there's no weight, there's no weight on the character and it's not animation, but it still is. It's that they tweak it a little bit. You could see this as like bullet time, as slow mo. There's slow mo, and then he jumps up, and that's his principles. He's got spacing. He's got weight. Especially this bit right here. You play from here. I like that bit right there. So cool. The way he goes from here. He grinds on the sword, and it whips back and pow, and comes back like that. This timing is really cool. I have no idea what show this is. Is it even an anime? It looks like American. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's inspired by anime, but it's not exactly. Yeah, this is one of the things I like to look at is 2Ds and anime. Let's look another one. This is from Mob Psycho 100. You know that anime tends to be quite ridiculous. They do a lot of things that's really impossible to do in real life, and I think that's what disconnects people from anime. They see these kind of crazy movements, crazy things, and they can't relate to it. I think that's what really turns people off to anime, and all these wacky expressions. But sometimes it's good to add it things that are grounded in your your animation, to make things feel more real, and you could see it as something, so you can connect to it, and it could make your real life, make something real look cool in a way. So example is like the way this character, the zombie character, moves, and the mechanics of it. Like moves like this is a really cool mechanic of him jumping up, grabbing his shirt, pulling him down like that, and the way he sways around and throws his arm. It's very zombie like, you know. Even if this is a real life zombie fighter, they might fight like this as well, and that helps us helps ground this animation a little bit more, because this anime tends to be pretty ridiculous. It's a lot of psychic powers, people flying around, teleporting, things like that, and even moves like this little tumbling move it's a basic gymnastics tumbling move, but they make it look fancy, and it helps ground this animation and yeah, helps ground this animation so you can relate to it more. And seeing like adding like smears like this, the duplicated legs, is nice to see. And these are running on trees, I think. Yeah, it's running on trees. Yeah, so this is one of the things I like to look at in anime, like how they take moves that are grounded, and then how they fuse it with something that it's ridiculous. So another example, it's Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, it's a ridiculous anime. They have these little things right here, and it you haven't seen it. It shoots out. It's like a grappling hook that shoots out from their waist, and it grabs on whatever thing, and it pulls them towards their grappling point. That doesn't make sense in real life, obviously. You probably hurt yourself, whiplash, and all that. But then they have your character interacting with things. Let me just play this for you. Fun sound. Let me skip around a bit. Nope. Okay. It's buffering or something. What the? There you go. Right, there's that. Yeah, pretty epic, right? It's pretty insane. I used to watch this show, but I don't watch it anymore because it just got too political, and I just didn't like it at all. But this scene is just insane, and it's insanely cool. So there's a lot of ridiculous action here, but there's a lot of very cool camera angles here that you could learn from. I think I feel like I've seen someone did like their own personal animation. They have something like this where it's running on the rooftop and it's sliding. I feel like I've seen it somewhere. But yeah, you could see all these different scenes and put them in your mental library. You don't have to physically write it down. You can if you want to, but the more times you watch things like this, you're building a mental library where whenever you come across a shot like this where you have a character running on a rooftop and they're running away from somebody, then maybe I could add this character slide like this other show. But you're not copying from this show. You're inspired by it. You're not doing it exactly because it's not happening the exact same way. So you get a lot of inspiration of ideas and poses that way. Like things like sliding on a rooftop. I like things like this, very dynamic camera angles, and I would probably animate something like this. Like I would have a character slide and have their foot like really close to the camera. I just don't know when yet. and then you have your character that's far away from the screen, and then they move closer to the camera, and he's moving around camera space. So he starts off like screen left, and then now he's on screen right, and now he's going further away from the screen and going to screen left, playing with screen space as well. So your character's not always in the middle, it's not always on the left or the right, it moves from different space. And when you have things like this, it creates a feel that your character is in a world. It's not it's not too rigid, because if your character is always in the middle, like video games that the character is always in the middle, it feels very static and it doesn't feel very interesting. Yeah, and looking at what else, and I look at a lot of cool ideas like this dynamic pose right here. This is very cool, shooting towards the camera like that, and camera zooming in close to his face, and he's swinging around left to right. He's spinning as well. He's sliding underneath things. These are all cool, very cool ideas that you could just put into your mental library. Yeah, things like this, like spinning on the ground. This is like totally my shit. And yeah, if I were to animate something, I would have a lot of different ideas like this. You get a lot of inspiration, and having him interact with the world, like doing a card view over a box, looking at how they hold certain poses, like they hold this pose particularly long, just so they could sell all these different moves. So you have variation of spacing. Sometimes you have a slow moves, and then it leads to a lot of fast movement, and then it leads to a bigger spaced out movement like that. What else? There's a lot of cool stuff. I think yeah, having him like interact with the wall, that's another cool idea. How would he pose like? How would he jump from wall to wall? Would he like run? Would he do a flip and to another wall, which they did? Very clean poses like this. Anime has a lot of cool stuff like that, and the way they play with smears by making the character a little bit blurry, and they add all these different lines that creates a smeary effect, so that you don't actually see the pose, you actually feel the pose. This is my favorite bit right here, where he's sliding on the little wooden thing. He's doing a flip and he lands like that, because it shows a lot of weight, and it shows that he's really interacting with this thing, because he actually bounced a little bit. His foot is going up and down, and the way they add smears like this and moving towards camera, and all these explosions, very dynamic angles. What else? Yeah, when he's spinning and his sword thing is grinding on the ground and the sparks. Another cool idea. Jumping underneath things, and even when they shoot his little grappling hook, it does this really cool tornado effect that gets smaller like that. It leads our eye that shows that he's gonna go there, which is anticipation. Yeah, and then you end with a cool pose. Like there's like a pause, so we can breathe. Movie fight scenes, they do that a lot as well. Sometimes they would have a pause, like a cool pose, just so the audience can breathe and relax a little bit after watching all these crazy things that's going on. So let's look at another anime. This is from BNA. It's from the makers of Kill la Kill. It's pretty recent. It's a very cool pose as well, but he's moving towards camera, and you could see like hands are much bigger, and things that's further away is a lot smaller like that. And I'll also look at the way they play with smears like this, and this can inspire me how to create smears in 3D, and that's why I always like to, when I make smears in my animation, I like to just have a mesh, and then I just use the lattice tool and just morph it a little bit to look like this. That's how I got my motivation to add smears like that. And you can even add smears, add these little things right here, but I haven't tried that yet. And even like blurring out certain parts of the finger, we can't do that in 3D, but we can do things like this. We can add like a mesh and fuzz it out like that, and you get like a smeary effect because of that. And even there's cool things like this where the hands are super big but the body is still back here, so you create some overlap action going on. See, even this move right there where he's hands out. So he can sell this move right here, this overlapping action of the hands, and this effect on the legs is pretty cool. It's smeary. So we can see that we don't need to see the legs, because this is the big part. Yeah, so you can get a lot of inspiration of how anime do things, and maybe we can do it as well. This studio, or I'm not sure if it's the artist or the studio that decides this, but they have a very interesting way of making animation feel very organic, and they're very efficient. So at times where they don't need to draw certain things in high detail, they won't do it. Some people might even criticize them as being low quality animation, but it's not that. They're just being very efficient with what they have, So things like this, where they just smear out the legs like this, because you don't need to see the legs. And if you do draw the legs in detail like this, you might not get the same effect of him jumping out like that. It might not feel the same. And yeah, cool poses, as I said, very clean poses, and the way they use lines and smoke to sell an action. Yeah, and the way they create a spinning effect, a drill effect, which is the hands, and they draw these lines around like that. Yep, so that's for that. And this is the other anime that they did. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite anime of all time. It's called Kill la Kill. It's ridiculous as usual. I mean, as this studio and this artist, Imaishi, I forgot his name, Imaishi something. Yeah, he's my favorite artist. And even things like this where she's spinning this blade around her hand, they still try to add some to make it look more realistic. Not realistic, but it shows that, try to show that she's actually spinning this blade around her wrist, and it's not just constrained and you just rotate the tool like that. It's actually spinning around like a ring. And so you can see that where they play with the wrist, where it's changing shapes all the time. Let's look at the wrist again. It's always changing shapes like this and moving back and forth like that on the ring, showing that she's actually controlling this ring, and it's not just rotating around her wrist like a mechanical thing. Adding things like that into something that's ridiculous, it helps make your animation, make your whatever that you're making look more grounded, and it looks cool at the same time. Like even like the elbows, the way he's moving his arms like this is not, the arms is not like a spaghetti. It's not like a piece of meat with no bones. It's got joints, so she's actually like doing rotations like this with the wrist and the elbow. It makes it look more convincing for us to see that she's actually spinning this thing like for real. It's not just some mechanical shit, right? And looking at all these smears are really cool as well. All these different things right here, and see how they add smears, because especially for a single blade that spins around, it's hard to see. Like I've never seen it before. How would it look like when it's spinning? So I go to things like this and I find inspiration on how they create smears like this, and I try to replicate it in 3D. They don't always work. I did an animation with like this. I mean, of her spinning this weapon. Someone created a rig of this character, and I tried doing it in 3D. It didn't work too well, but I learned something from it, and I tried creating something that I tried experimenting, to see what I could get out of looking at all these anime, and see if I can do it in 3D. Yeah, so that's the end of the anime portion. Yeah, so in conclusion with about the anime, yeah, I know a lot of people, some people that just didn't work. I mean, anime just didn't work with them. The good thing about anime is so diverse. Like some anime it's very grounded. Some anime is very ridiculous. Some anime it's like very Disney fantasy-ish, like the Ghibli movies. So you have to pick what you like and what flavor you like. And see what clicks for you. it's okay if you don't like anime, but there's a lot of anime does a lot of good things, and even like American animations, they are starting to like take a lot of influences from anime. You know, a lot of cool things that anime does very well. They're starting to implement it. That's why American cartoons, they don't do as well as Japanese anime. Japanese anime, they appeal to adults and kids, and they do so many amazing things, but the American animation just doesn't really work. So like a lot of recent shows, they start to take a lot of these anime elements, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I start to see a little bit of anime influences there, and then Teen Titans, I see a lot of anime influences there. And the most recent one was the Rise of the Teenage Ninja Turtles. Rise of the Teenage Ninja Turtles, such a long title. A lot of anime influences there, especially from this anime in particular. I think I'll show it to you later from Twitter. And yeah. So yeah, go check out anime. A lot of crazy cool poses, and it helps broaden your culture exposure as well, because Japanese people are really weird. I mean, in our perspective, they are very, very weird. In their perspective, we are very weird. So it goes hand in hand. But yeah, helps really, you know, just to help broaden your exposure to what good cool stuff or funny stuff looks like. So let's see. The next thing I'm gonna look at is fight scenes. I'm just looking at the time. Fight scenes. So yeah, fight scenes. I like to point out that, I mean, fight scenes. Yeah, I picked only Jackie Chan's fight scenes because Jackie Chan has the most obvious sense of timing and rhythm. He's very good at it. He has very good sense of timing and rhythm. I saw a documentary about Jackie Chan, about how he does his stunts, how does he think of his ideas. He actually writes his rhythm in a book. He actually sounds out his timing and rhythm, and then he writes in the book, and then he choreographs around that. And depending on what environment he's at, he would include whatever that's there, like a TV, a fridge, a ladder, a screwdriver, a cardboard box. He would try to see what's there and try to implement it into his fight scenes. And that's something, you know, we can all learn from it. You know, be adaptive and be creative at the same time. Like if like people say that, you know, I don't have the best tools to make this animation, I don't have the best this to make stop motion animation, but you can just work with whatever you have. You know, if you have only these rigs to use for Maya, just use those rigs and create something out of it, and be creative and work around what you can do. So that's I digress a little bit on Jackie Chan, but his fight scenes, it's very good to watch for timing and rhythm and posing as well, because he's very aware of what good posing looks like, because he's a big fan of Charlie Chaplin and those silent film guys. He always looks at where he's going. He doesn't leave the audience out of it. He's always making very clear for us to watch. So I'm going to show you this fight scene, right? It's from a movie called Legend of the Drunken Master. It's actually a pretty old movie. And watch at the timing and the rhythm of his fight. This is a very slower pace version of the whole movie's fight scene, because this is just an introduction of this fight. So let me just play it for you and just look at his rhythm and his ideas. It's really cool. Yep, I only cut out a small bit of it. It's only 20 seconds long. It's actually a lot longer, this fight. If you've seen the movie, it gets crazier than this. It's fantastic. But yeah, notice that the way he played with this drunken character, it works with the ideas they choose. Things like where he's falling backwards on somebody. It works for the drunk a drunk character, and it's very different than just throwing punches and kicks. You're actually falling backwards on somebody, and even moves like this where he's hooking the guy and drumming on the guy's chest like that. It's very cool. It's very different ideas that you could be inspired from, and it suits the character well as well. And especially this last bit back here, it's got a nice rhythm. That part right there, it's like pow. Very nice sense of rhythm, and also it's nice to look at mechanics because moves like this where he's kicking this guy and punching this guy. That it's, if he's not actually kicking this guy, he won't be able to pull this off. It would be very difficult, and it won't feel very powerful. So just so you could see like the mechanics of like where's the energy coming from. The energy is coming from this kick right here. This guy is really taking it so that he could do this move to this other guy. And Jackie likes to end with his a cool pose, kind of thing. These are all like little things like this I like to look at. Even like this beginning part right here where he's doing this stomp and this wavy move. It's got rhythm as well, but these are all like nonsense things. Like, you don't need to, if you're in a real fight, you don't do things like this. It's this movie kung fu, and it's nice to look at. It's really cool. It's really inspiring. Yeah, and so, yeah, like framing, posing is very clear as well. Like this bit right here, you could see him, you could see these two guys, and see him punching this other guy. It's very clear. They don't cut shots, and yeah, it's one of the things that really inspired me. Let's look at another movie. This is an old movie of his. It's pretty old. It's called Gorgeous. It's like a love movie with fighting. Of all his movies, I think this movie has the most rhythmy kind of fight, because I guess it's a style he's going for, I guess, and he wants to try something different. Jackie always likes to try something different, and it's got a nice style to it. So I'm gonna play this for you. Yeah, listen to the rhythm of this fight. Play the sound. Yeah, this fight is a lot longer. Just cutting out a short bit of it just to show it to you. Yeah, just notice like there's different beats. Sometimes it's just like normal punches and kicks that creates a steady beat, and then you got this fast bit right here where he's doing a bunch of punches and playing with ideas, playing with the environment, where first we're seeing them in side view, and now they switch places, and now we have to change the camera, and now it's a different angle. And even this little whatever that thing is, that little kick move, that's why I say this particular Jackie Chan movie fights, it feels more like a dance than in a fight, but it's really nice to watch as well. And even the last bit right here with the beats on this part right here, bum 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 bum, you know, it's got that nice music like beat. What else do I have here? It's loading. It's loading. Come on. Okay. Oops. Yeah, so this is another fight scene. This is not Jackie Chan. This is actually a Japanese stunt team. It's very different as well. And I found this on Twitter. They do a lot of string work. So they're very, you know, Japanese people have different ideas as well, because they come from a different culture with samurais and ninjas, and the way they act, they play with their body language, and obviously they take inspiration from anime if you watch this. So I'm gonna play this for you. right, really cool stuff. So you notice they have very different ideas as well. Especially, you know, with rope work, you can do all these crazy ass stuff that you cannot do in real life, and it's hard to know the mechanics of it, the body mechanics. So it's really nice to watch these guys do it. And even though they're just using swords, you know, it's very simple. It's just slash 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 stab, but they play with different ideas where he's jumping over this box backwards, or he's using his hip to hit somebody. What else? Finding cool poses in situations where he's surrounded by guys, wrestling, rolling around and slashing somebody. These are all very cool ideas to put into your backlog. This move in particular is I really like, because I definitely would like to animate something like this where someone's running on his side. It doesn't make any sense, and it's nice to see how people would do it, because you're running and you're slashing. It's a lot of things going on. It's hard to see. So when you watch people do it like this, you can kind of feel like, okay, the mechanics feel like this. You know, this is what it looks like if someone was running on their side like that, where they're totally off balance. He's totally gonna fall, but you know, the idea is that he's running so fast that, you know, gravity doesn't affect him. But it's really cool to see and it's really cool angle as well, where they start from a back here and then they run towards the camera and then to the other side of the screen, and things like this as well, like he's running really quick and slashing a bunch of people. You see this in anime a lot, like things like running across a crowd of people and slashing them, and then doing a cool pose like that, or dashing across like this. We can do this in animation, you know, and it's nice to see them do it in real life, so we don't have to, we cannot even, you know. Yeah, cool dynamic angles like this. Yeah, that's it for fights. So yeah, I recommend looking at Jackie Chan's stuff, just because he's very good at pantomiming, he's very good at timing and rhythm, and he's very creative with whatever he does, and that really inspires me, like the way he uses a ladder to fight, or uses a fridge or tables and random shit like that, and it really pushes you to be creative, because a little bit of history about Jackie. He this is not his dream job. This is not what he wants to do. He doesn't want to like do fights like this. This is not what he wants to do. He said that if he could start his life all over again, he would be a singer. He wouldn't do this at all. But he make whatever he is doing in life, he just make the best out of it. So and the more you do it, the better you get at it. The more passionate you get. The better you get at something, the more passionate you get into it, and the more you'll just love it. You know, it's the same for me with animation. I did not know, animation wasn't my dream job. It's just over time of learning a bunch of things, and I got better at animation, and that got me more passionate, and it's a love that just kind of grew over time. So it's very motivating to look at Jackie Chan himself and the things that he do, and this art form he created it's so fantastic. It's not even what he wants to do in real life. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it for fight scenes. Even though it's mostly me talking about Jackie Chan, but just watch his stuff as well. It's just there's a really good documentary I'm gonna link below, where they talk about I think the channel is called Every Art Frame by Frame. No, something like that. I don't know, like Every Frame a Picture. I think that's the one. Every Frame a Picture? No. Okay, whatever it is, I'm gonna link it below. Where he talks about how Jackie Chan is so good at making things clear for us to see, you know, with comedy and timing and the story of it, without any dialogue. So you can, that's why it's so good. Yeah, I'm just gonna link it below so you can just go watch it. So let's see what else. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is, this one's a bit controversial, isn't it? Because it's about Twitter. Yes, Twitter is how I learn animation, kind of. Twitter, Twitter, that's because it's social media and people has a lot of like negative connotations towards social media. But that famous Spider-Man line, with great power comes great responsibility. So it really depends on how you use Twitter. This is my Twitter page. So what I recommend is that if you're like me, you don't like using social media, you don't want to look at what people are doing with their life, and you feel that FOMO, fear of missing out kind of feeling. Only do what I do. Follow only animators, because I only follow people who are animators or inspire me to be a better animator. So I think I follow a few actors like Daisuke from Ghost of Tsushima. I follow him. I follow some storyboarders, some directors, riggers, concept artists. I forgot, but these people, are either my friends, or I want to know what they're working on. Just because their work's so cool. Or I just look at their animation. Sometimes people post some really cool animation, and it really inspires you. So, if you're like me, you don't want to deal with all that noise on social media. It's really annoying. Only follow animators and don't follow anybody else. And if you can try to shut off. You can filter out certain words. I just don't exactly know how. I've been trying to figure it out, but you might not be able to even. And if I go to my homepage, it's mostly animation. Like like things like this is really cool to see because it's a great reference. And Jason Chum I think you guys might know who he is. He's a great animator, great teacher. And that's how I find all the cool shit. Like things like this. I wouldn't have find this animation without Twitter, and it's insanely cool. I have no idea what it is. Is it a show? Is it a movie? It's just ridiculously cool. It's more Chinese based, so you can expose yourself to different culture, like the way China, the way they make fight scenes versus America versus Japan. China has their own style as well. I take a big influence in Chinese kung fu because that was my dream as a kid. So this is really nice to see because you get to see kung fu in animation and the way they tweak it to make it look even cooler. I feel I'm saying a lot, so and like things like this, looking at all these smears in the fight scenes and the sound effects. There's sound effects. What else? And even this was pretty recent, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. This Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a new show. I think this is the fight scene for one of the episode. I forgot, but there's a lot of strong anime influences. Like, I'll just play this bit for you to see. Look at this. All this zipping around, this powers and whipping, lashing, things exploding, swords flying around, they teleporting. It's so anime, and I love it so much, and I'm so happy to see things like this. Because I talk about anime, like how much good stuff anime has, and I think American cartoons, they're not taking it in. They're not implying it. And to see them make something like this is just insanely good. I believe this studio made another show called Lego Monkey Kid. Yeah, it's somewhere down here. This one right here. Lego Monkey Kid. Same. I think it's the same studio because the style is so similar. And you can see it's so anime. My throat is getting dry. It's so anime influenced. It's really cool to see like all these different bits where his eyes glow red. That whatever character, his eyes go red like that. This is, you only see it in anime. I rarely see it in American influences stuff. And there's no point in putting it in, but there's a story in here. It seems like there's like a spirit guy, but whatever. I digress again. To put it shortly, Twitter, and this is how I found this drumming thing. And Twitter, you also find a lot of cool rigs like this character. I haven't gotten a chance to try it, but I will eventually, after I finish my current animation. Okay, yeah, there's so many cool rigs I found, like this character, the Zelda characters. This animation is cool. This one of my ex coworkers, he's awesome. Even like things like this, I wouldn't have find cool things like this without Twitter. Twitter has surprisingly a lot of animators, a lot of artists. So yeah, try to be more controlled with your Twitter use, because it's not really healthy for you to use social media all the time, but just use it enough for you to get some juicy animation information, like things like this, to get inspired. But I know that not everybody likes to see what other people are doing in animation, because it makes you feel bad about yourself. It's like, oh, I should be doing things like this too, but why am I not doing it? Because am I just lazy? And you get this loophole of of this like feeling bad about yourself, and you gotta be more self-compassionate about yourself. I'm learning about self-compassion, being kind to yourself about things like this. Not everybody has the time. It's okay if you don't. You have your own life to live, and that's very important. So yeah, that's my Twitter bit, and that's good and bad. So yeah, okay. So last thing I want to show you on learning animation is to move your body, to do things. Not this thing. This is a pet part of the video. Do anything. Lift weights. These are all very bad examples. Very these are all very extreme examples. But I like watching these videos of People Are Awesome. These People Are Awesome series videos with people doing crazy shit. It's really inspiring. Moving your body, exercising, playing sports, basketball, workout, go do calisthenics like this. There's multiple reasons for it, not just for animation. It's also good for your mind, and when your mind is in a better state, exercising is good for your mind. I think science talked about it a lot, and I totally agree with it. I'm slowly seeing more artists, more animators exercising, going out and do something. I'm really happy to see, because back years ago, not that long, I'm not that old, but maybe 5 years ago, and maybe it's the country, maybe it's just based on where you're at. Animators don't do anything. They don't exercise. They don't play sports. They don't do anything physical, and that's a very disappointing to see. And not just because I want them to be healthy and be happy, but when you're moving your body, you're not just seeing animation, you're actually feeling your animation. You feel how your body moves. And there are times where I actually use my animation knowledge to help me do certain moves. So for example, when I'm doing a front tuck, so it's like you're running and you're doing a front flip, I was struggling with it for a bit, and I was trying to think about how do I make this better. So I started thinking about if this was animation, how would I do it? If my body was an animation body rig, how would I do it? So I was thinking, okay, I would run, and I would have my stretch pose, and then the top of the apex, I would be tucked, so your body would be like kind of tucked like a ball to flip forward. So I would do, and then when I land, I would have my body stretched down with my arms up, and I'll have my squash, things like that. So when I did my flip, I imagined myself doing that. I ran, and I imagined my torso like translating off my body upwards, and then I feel my body translating upwards, and when I hit my apex, I tucked my chest in, to carry on that momentum, and I could feel my lower hips like arching around my torso like an arc like that, and I landed, and it felt easy. It felt easier than how I usually did it. And it was very surprising, and I just kept doing that, and over time I stopped doing that because I just got lazy. I stopped thinking about that, and I probably should. I haven't done gymnastics for a while, and I really missed it. So After all this pandemic thing is over, I would go back. Yeah. So anyway, I digress again. Yeah, pick sports that you like. You know, if you like playing soccer, if you like playing basketball, do that. You know, and yeah, you get to you feel your mechanics, how you jump, what leads the action when you kick, when you punch. If you've done martial arts is great as well. How they feel like when you throw a punch, where does the energy come from? A lot of people don't know this, but when you're throwing a punch, the energy comes from your foot, not from your arms. You don't need strong arms to throw a punch. You need a strong whole body. Your whole body needs to work together to throw a good punch, a good kick, to do it right, safely. A good example is if you try to throw a punch and sit on a computer chair, you know, with wheels, and your chair rotates like that. And while you're sitting on the chair, lift your legs off the ground and try to throw a punch. Versus if you put your leg on the ground while sitting on the chair and throw a punch, see how it feels. It feels totally different. It feels like there's no energy. If your legs are off the ground while you're sitting on the chair and you throw a punch, there's no power in it. It feels like you're just dabbing on somebody, like just touching somebody. So that's how you feel your animation. You get to see where the energy comes from. Yeah, and also I talked about like it's good for your mind. This is a bit of a motivation because I'm a motivational junkie. Is that exercising, it releases good hormones, serotonin? Yeah, I think so. The good hormones, and you feel better. When you feel better, you're less stressed, and when you're less stressed, you can create better art. You can create better things. You'll also enjoy the process of doing it. Yeah, that's why you should move, go do something, you know, martial arts, anything, gymnastics. Yeah, and it feels really good to do it. It gives you good confidence as well, makes you look good. There's no bad into it, unless you do it way too much and you hurt yourself, then that's bad. But yeah, do it. And you know, just be if you're starting from zero, like you don't work out at all, just take it slowly. You know, just do a little bit. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you skip the day, you know, it's okay. It's fine. You know, just skip a day. Relax. Maybe you're sore. Maybe you're just too stressed out. It's okay. Just take a break, and then maybe try again tomorrow. Maybe try something light. Maybe just go for a walk. Yeah, take things one by one. Yeah, I think that's the end of this video. How long was it? An hour. Okay. Yeah, so in conclusion, yeah, it's a lot of stuff to take in, right? Because I believe that the whatever art that you create is influenced by life. Whatever art, whether you're a concept artist, maybe you're a movie maker, writer, it all comes from life. You know, the way maybe your childhood, your hobbies, if you like to lift weights. This guy's ridiculous. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, it all comes from life, and trying to see where things come from. It's a way of being mindful, and being mindful. It's part of meditation. I don't want to go too deep into meditation, but when you see life this way, it helps put you in a better state as well, and it might even motivate you to be, you know, better animator. Okay, I'm distracted by this video. It would motivate you to be an animator, a better animator, or it might even push you away from animation. But at least you know what you like to do and what you want, and you know how to decide what you want to do in animation or in life, or maybe you want to try something else a little bit different. Maybe you want to try concept art. Maybe you want to try making music. And doing a lot of these different things, it helps you, you know, understand how, and helps you understand how to get better at animation, and helps you. And I hope making this video, I know I'm talking a lot and I'm going off track a little bit, but I made these videos is to inspire you to find your own way to learn animation or whatever it is that you're doing. I chose animation because it's what I do. It's what I'm good at, and I like doing it. And I didn't do well in school. I was not a good student. I did not get good grades. That's why, because school just taught in a very structured way, and I didn't really understand it, and I had to find my own way to study, and this is what I found over years of trying different things, trying different ways of learning. And this is my way of learning, is by just looking at what's good and try to copy it, and look at and do that, rinse and repeat. And you just take a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of different things, and you just combine it and create something that becomes you and what you like. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. I'm gonna post the link of most of this stuff, not all of it. Some of these is my own personal things that I clipped out. I don't think I can upload it anywhere. But whatever I can, I'll upload it in the description. Go check it out. Yeah, that's all. I'll see what I'll make next time. So for now, see you next time, and thank you for watching.